Welcome, everyone. My name is Jill Goff, and I have Ryan Moffett on the meeting to help run things along. The topic today is Winboard Legacy to WATTNet. We have a large group, so please remain muted. I will hold a Q&A session at the end of the presentation, at which time I will read questions from the chat or call on people who indicate they have a question. With that, let's get started. For those of you who have been with us for years, first of all, thank you. You are familiar with the Winboard 2 or the Legacy software for our shop test boards. It was a code-based software database platform. That means it required coding and a developer and Radian Weco intervention to make any changes to your data view, even if it's just a matter of extending the field by 1 character length. It did have a default data view, and its end of life was December 31st of 2019. The reason we moved, the Sybase was coming out of support. So we transitioned to a SQL-based, which is a table-based database. And that led us to our WATTNet suite. Now, many of you transitioned into Winboard 3, which was the primary testing software, but didn't have a whole lot of the bells and whistles. Well, what we've done is we have integrated Winboard 3 into all of our WATTNet platforms. So now we have WATTNet Basic, WATTNet Express, WATTNet Legacy, and WATTNet Plus. There is still a base default data view for the actual testing data view screen. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of do a side-by-side of what the Winboard or Legacy data view was and what the default for WATTNet is. Then we're going to go into what WATTNet is right for you based on what your needs are, what your requirements are, what your end game is for your data. We'll go over some add-in features and customization options that we have for you and some services. So this is, as you would have seen, the Winboard Legacy. Now, it had 3 icons. The first one, the Winboard Utilities, was your administration and setup. The Winboard icon was what you're seeing here on the right, is the actual testing screen. And then your WATTNet data viewer was the reporting and equipment retrieval and editor. So that's your Legacy Winboard 2 data view. What we have moved to is the WATTNet platform. And this is the base default data view for all of the platforms. Depending on whether you go with Basic, Express, Limited, or Plus, this can be expanded upon, and we'll go through that a little bit later. The icons are now consolidated into one icon. You will have a WATTNet Basic or Express or Limited or Plus icon, and inside you have a combination of those 3 icons. So the Winboard Utilities is the system options and admin. Those are your setup options. Winboard is the same Winboard right there. It's integrated into all of our platforms, and this is what you would see with the Winboard 3 as well. And then the WATTNet Data Viewer is the equipment and reports tabs. Okay? And then here is your data view. Now, let's look at them side by side just to give you an idea of when we transitioned from WATTNet Legacy to WATTNet as a whole, what fields were brought over, what is still available? Well, we'll go by one by one. So you had your meter number in your Legacy up here on the top. Down below on the bottom, you've got your WATTNet. So you have serial number in Legacy up top and serial number in WATTNet. Your AMR ID in WATTNet, your manufacturer, and in WATTNet. Your test code is in a little bit different area, and as soon as I'm done going through all the fields, I'll explain why we separated these sections out here. You've got your meter type and your meter type. Form and base, that came over as well. Your KH, your test volts, your amps up top, amps down on WATTNet, your tester ID up top now comes into your common result data, your test station again goes to your common result data, your readings now come over here to this side tab, your trouble codes are in your common result data, and your comments are here as well. As you can see, there's one extra. We've added a test location. So what is the difference between one whole data view and these little segments? Well, this is the actual meter data, your meter nameplate data that is your that stays with the meter. Down here in the common test result and in your readings tabs are specific to the test each individually. So this data can all change from test to test, where this data will remain a part of the equipment. Okay? So that's the difference between the data views. It's a little different looking. The functionality is so that if you have WATTNet Express, Limited, or Plus, this can be changed and edited. We'll go through some options for those of you that have WATTNet Basic. So now we are interested in, of course, the testing portion of it. This is what you would have seen in Legacy up top, and at the bottom is what you see in WATTNet. I'm going to remove that data view portion of it, and let's focus just on the actual testing parameter windows that we're looking for. So in Legacy, you used to have your lookup code, form, KH, volts, amps. They're still represented down here in your nameplate data. Okay. All of these other things down here, your sequences, your revs, your as found and as left limits, your services, your optics, whether there's any delays, AMR type, they're all included. The nice part about WATTNet is that everything that you used to do up here in Legacy in anywhere from 4 to 7 editors, separate editors that you had to go into to get this information, you now have in 2 editors in WATTNet. You would have your form and lookup code editor and your test sequence editor. So you can build all of your requirements that you would normally have to set and change in here in the 2 editors in WATTNet. If you're barcoding, it's even additionally easier because you have setups based on your barcode. Okay, and then your the sequences and your accuracies are down here at the bottom as well. Okay. Now, the data that you have mapped in your data view is hopefully going to go somewhere and be used. So you're either exporting it to a third-party system or you're making reports and things like that. In order to export or pull that data out in a report or an export flat file, it needs to be mapped in the data view. So there is a default export structure. WATTNet Basic comes with a default data view with those set fields we just went through. It also has a default export structure. Okay? WATTNet Express, Limited, Plus all comes with a default structure. However, it is editable. And in those tiers, you can also have multiple export structures. In those WATTNet Express, Limited, and Plus tiers, you can also use our NISC integration service where we are moving the data from WATTNet to your NISC system via multi-speak. And then you can't talk about exports without talking about imports. So I wanted to let you know that import structures on all tiers, you can have multiple import structures and they are editable. The reason you would want multiple is if you have multiple meter manufacturers, all of them might have a different structure to their new meter files. If you have a third-party testing company and you want to import their results, you can have that as well. So which one is right for you? This is probably the question that everybody wanted to know. It's not a one-size-fits-all for everyone all the time. We do offer a WATTNet software features. It's a family of features breakdown. This is just the first page of 3 or 4 pages that breaks down the functionalities based on your tier. If you have any questions, please let us know. We can send this to you. You can contact your regional sales manager or the support team. We can discuss any training you might need. We do on-site training as well as remote WebEx trainings in either 4 or 8-hour increments. If you're interested in any add-on services like the NISC functionality or any of the other features, we can discuss that further. So getting specific, which WATTNet is right for you? If you have Winboard 2 and you need a testing software, it's free and it's already set up. WATTNet Basic is an install, run your software, run your test boards. It has a default data view, it has a default export structure, and it is a local database, which means it is installed on the PC itself. It's a one-to-one database. If that is all you need, and everything we showed you in the WATTNet Basic example looks good, then you're good to go. To expand, we do offer a data view configuration service where we can edit, rename, reorder, move your data view around a bit, add, take away, make it more to your liking. We have a service that we can do for you on that. Additionally, when you add fields to your data view, you might need to add it to your export structure, so we can do an export structure edit, configuration as well. If you want all of your data to come over from Winboard Legacy, if you provide us with your WecoTB database, we can take your equipment files, your tests, all your settings, which would be your test sequences, barcode settings, your validation tables, everything that you have wrapped up in your Winboard 2 software, we can put it into WATTNet Basic. So any of those services, you can get a quote from your regional sales manager. If you're not sure who that is, let us know or go to our website and we'll put you in the right direction. For WATTNet Basic, if you're looking for editable or multiple data views, you can have multiple data views in Express, Limited, and Plus. And that might be if you have 2 different meter populations or 2 areas that you need to keep a different data set, you can have 2 or multiple different data views. So you might need certain data for one population and a different set of data for the other. You can do manual test entry with Express, Limited, and Plus. Additionally, there is this option for a central server. So if you have multiple test boards and you want everyone pointing to the same database, you can use a central server. Additionally, with that, there is a proxy sync that allows, if you have a test board out in a van that does not have a network connectivity, you can run the software on a local database on that PC, and then when you get back to the shop, you can link up and sync to the central server. We have the management dashboard that gives you your statistics. If you are looking for, and this is more of the IT side, if you're looking for security role and access control management, you can determine which users are able to access which portions of the software. You might have some that are administrators that do everything, some that you only want to do reports, some that only do testing, whether they can access, edit, or delete certain populations of information. And we also allow for multimedia storage and recall, so you can attach pictures. So if you have a tampered meter, you can take a picture of it and attach it to that meter test, and it will stay with that meter number. Additionally, with WATTNet Express, you can do that full data conversion. Again, whether it's the WECO TB database 1, 2, or 5, or 10, we take all of them, we put them together, and all of your equipment, your tests, your settings, drop-downs, all of that comes over. Additionally, you have the option for that NISC integration that I was talking about, where at Winboard Test Save in the Winboard or WATTNet software, it will send it over to NISC. There's also a manual option of sending it over as well. We talked about WATTNet Limited and WATTNet Plus. Again, remember I told you that family features brochure is several pages long. This is page 2, I believe, and it just shows you the additional features. WATTNet Limited is more of a la carte, if you will, where you can add certain features in. There are advanced reporting features, so if you're not finding what you need in WATTNet Express or Basic, possibly Limited could provide you the reporting features. If you're testing with ANSI or MilSpec standards, you can do sampling and reporting. There is a shop transformer test board interface, and red tags are really nice. It's a pop-up red tag where that meter is red tagged. You're not physically red tagging the meter. It's all on the software. Some add-on features for new device acceptance. It also supports gas devices. WATTNet Plus is kind of a little bit of, it's got it all. There are some things you can add in additionally, but there is an advanced custom configuration, and it does support multiple companies. So we have a little bit of something for everyone. If you're not sure which you need, let us know. We can always help go through it with you. I want to invite everyone to WeMeet 2020. Due to the COVID pandemic, we have rescheduled WeMeet till September 15th through the 17th. It is a great way to see the latest hardware and software, get some training, and meet the team. We get to meet you. You get to meet some fellow industry professionals where you can exchange ideas and get some thoughts on how people are using certain features of the software. Very helpful. It's a great event, and we invite all of you to come and join us in September. Just go to radianresearch.com and go ahead and register for that. So at this time, I'd like to begin to take questions. To avoid talking over one another, please use the chat feature to pose your question or ask to be called on. Let me know you have a question, and I will either read the question that's typed or call on you to ask a question. So, there's one. William Tang, is the suggested best practice for migrating custom-made test sets from Winboard to WATTNet the full data conversion for test sequences? William, good question. If you have a lot of test sequences that are very custom and very specific, if we aren't doing it, they will need to be built manually in the software. The nice part about having the custom conversion done is that we are making sure that not only your test sequences are brought over, but all the data is brought over, pass and fail flags. things of that nature that might touch multiple tables that just a straight data dump over would not cover. But the test sequences are sometimes quite involved and may not be the most intuitive sometimes to people in the new software. So it's definitely, I don't know if I would say best practice, but it's definitely recommended. Any other questions? There's one in, what version Winboard is needed for the software, and can older test equipment be updated to the newer Winboards? So Winboard 2 is the old version, and the old version, the final one was 2.62. When you migrate to the WATTNet platform, you will be starting on, if you're not on it already, you will be starting on version 4.1.1128.2. And so that is the version you will need. We would send you the installer for the WATTNet Basic, and you can get started. Now, a little note that a SQL Server is required for the database. So we need to have a SQL Server installed for you. Your IT or DBA database administrator can get that set up. Once a SQL Server is installed and set up on your network or your PC, then you can run the installer and it will create your database. It will be an empty database, but it will be the default setups like you saw. You have the choice to either migrate and integrate that past data, or you can just start from scratch and build going forward. As far as the older test equipment, our Model 2000 boards that do not have an Ethernet adapter connection will need an Ethernet upgrade kit. So a serial connection doesn't work. WATTNet uses the Ethernet ports. So older test boards from Model 2000 and 4000, 8000, all of them will need the Ethernet. UTech boards do not communicate. They are not compatible with WATTNet. You're welcome, William. Dan, will we continue to support Winboard 3? Winboard 3 is essentially, it's still supported in that if you are running Winboard 3, it's kind of wrapped up inside WATTNet Basic, WATTNet Express. If you have a standalone currently, yes, we will continue to support it. The goal is to get everyone wrapped up into the platforms. In Winboard 3, you don't have the expanded reporting features, and so it's really a nice feature to have. So if there's any concerns about moving to the WATTNet Basic or Express platform, give us a call and let's see if we can talk through it and see if there's a reason for that. But I think you'd like the reporting features that WATTNet has to offer. Do updating Bantam Plus Winboard or UTech's Winboard 2 into WATTNet Basic free of charge? The importing, the conversion is not a free. It is a service that we can provide a quote for. As far as the Winboard 2, with all of our software platforms, our WATTNet platforms, you can sync the Bantam, the WEs, the RWs. You can sync those with those softwares. RM17s can sync into Basic and Express, and so it's a nice package to have. But the UTech data does not actually sync. That would be a Winboard 2 conversion service that would need to be quoted. The basic software is free of charge. The conversion is a quotable service. Have I missed any questions? Anyone else? Wait about 10, 15 more seconds, see if I've got anybody. About how long does the conversion take? Well, it depends on the number of databases that are included. If it's just one database and it's a fairly standard conversion, again, that then would take into account how many test records there are, how clean the data is. What we try to do is we take them in the order that they come in. If someone needs one a little quicker than someone else, and we'll work to accommodate everyone's schedule. But if you need, I would say a good week would be a safe bet, just to make sure that we do the initial conversion. We work with you to make sure that the layout that we have is correct, answer any questions that, or pose any questions to you that we have about certain data sets or entries that you may or may not want in there, and then we turn around and do a final. So a week is probably a safe bet, and that's on, you know, just a regular standard size. It's hard to tell, but we work with you on your time frame. If you've got one that needs to be done quicker, we can certainly do whatever we need to help you out. When offering a quote of Bantam or UTEC, is it necessary to offer a unit with WATTNet software? WATTNet software is not required for a Bantam or RW or WE. They are standalone softwares. They are standalone testing equipment. The WATTNet suite is to bring everything into a central area, a reportable, a more desktop friendly, especially if you are using shop test boards as well in conjunction. It ties everything in nicely, but it is not required for a field test unit. What is required to upgrade from Winboard 3 to WATTNet Basic? Absolutely nothing. We always recommend a backup of your database. That's just a recommendation for any update. Then we send you the link and you update, and it uses the same database. So you're really, you don't have to do much of anything. We don't need much data conversion. We have an older system where the interface card was not working with Winboard 2. Can the interface be updated on all equipment? Richard, when you say you have an older system, you mean the test board? And while you're typing that, I'll just say that can the interface be updated? If it is a Model 2000 series test board, a 2150, 2350, we can provide you the quote for the Ethernet test, the Ethernet connection kit. That will communicate, or that will interface then with the new software. Our 4000 and 8000 series boards, those are the newer ones. They come with the Ethernet. So, Richard, I hope that answered your question. If not, let me know and we can go a little further. Edmundo, will I lose my previous test information on meters tested in the past? You won't lose it. It's just whether or not you bring it over. If you bring it over into WATTNet, you won't lose it. If you choose to not bring it over, then you will need to find another way to retain it. Eventually, Winboard 2 will lose functionality as Winboard updates progress. So you might see some little buggy features. Those, as far as the end of life, that's what we won't be doing any more updates. We'll still support it as far as the basic functionality and stuff, but as the Windows updates occur, you may start to see issues. So having an export or a record of that data would be good. In order to do the full conversion, we can use non-WECO test data, but it's a little more of a manual process and does take a little more time. Okay, Richard, yes, please call me back. I will, if you could you give me your email? I'll go ahead and send you an email, Richard, if you want, with our direct contact information, and we can talk about this a little further when you get back to the shop. Thank you. I think I've got all the questions so far. If I haven't, give me a big me. William, in the past, copying one database from one PC to another is just copy the WECO TB-DB file. Is it similar on WATTNet? Yes, instead of one specific WECO TB-DB file, it is it's a set of WATTNet Plus SQL files. It's WATTNet Plus .mdf and WATTNet Plus log.ldf. They're in a folder, a directory, and if you need to move it from one PC to the other so everybody's on the same starting point, we can absolutely tell you the directory on where it is on each PC from where you copy it to where you drop it. An upgrade from Winboard 2 to WATTNet Basic is same database or SQL. It is a different database. It is a different database table structure. The Sybase database, which is what the Winboard 2 is on, is a code-based database. And so it's very labor-intensive as far as making changes and editing. The SQL database is supported by Microsoft. It's more robust and a little more user-friendly, so you can make those changes on your own. Again, WATTNet Basic doesn't have that immediate customization ability, but it can be done. Again, it'll just be a service. Let us know. We can quote you that. But if you're kind of into doing it yourself, WATTNet Express lets you do a little bit more of what you might want. Anybody else? Good questions, you guys. Keeping me on my toes. Richard, I got your email. Thank you. All right, let's wait about 10 more seconds to give somebody a chance to, hey, me. You're welcome. Thank you, Jervin. Okay. Well, I'd like to thank all of you for attending. If you think of any other questions, or if there's something that you didn't want to ask in front of the group, please contact us. You can reach out to us at our website, www.radianresearch.com. We have a customer forum where you can find previous topics of conversation. There's a chat feature that you can chat with us on. If you have specific questions for our technical team, you can reach them at technicalsupport@radianresearch.com or 765-449-5576. If you have software-specific questions, you can reach us at software@rrwe.net. Our number is 601-933-0939. Again, I want to thank all of you for being here, and thank you for letting us be your solutions partner. I hope all of you have a great day. I hope to see you guys at our next webinar. If you have ideas for a webinar or a topic that you'd like us to cover, please give us an email or a call, and we'll go ahead and put that on the list. Thanks so much. Everybody have a great day.